Colorado, in my opinion, everybody knows by their records that it's the hottest team in the conference because that 5-0 in this conference, 5 in a row. That's hard to do. That's why you got a team like UW that has accomplished that and much more. And I was looking at a stat today where UW over 500 career starts by their seniors. I think Colorado State is somewhere now close to about 300. I've got 6 guys that have been in Pullman for 8 months. And when they continue to push like that and work like that, they're just starting to learn and get a little bit better. Yeah, it makes the game at times difficult to coach because you have to do so much to help them understand it, but it makes it very satisfying to coach when it all comes together and they push through and they learn how to close a game like that, because that is a good team, very well coached team, and we have to do it tonight and generate a lot of energy from within. I think the next part of us is just to continue to play those people that we played in the first half of the conference. Colorado just kicked us in Boulder. Utah did the same thing, and obviously UW, and I'm hoping that I know the fans can see it, but I want our guys to continue to feel just how much better they've gotten over the time of going through some adversity with the losses, hanging in there with us, and now they're starting to have some success. They just need to stay grounded with the success and want more success, and that starts again for us on Saturday with another difficult opponent coming in here.
Sure, it can be aggravating in a game with 22 lead changes. You get a lead and then you concede it and back and forth. Can you talk about how this team was able to survive that period and kind of showed some maturity and maybe Saturday's game kind of helped them win this one?
Saturday's game definitely did, and I think when you talk about losing those close games like that, there has to be something gained in on. That's why you always look on the positive side of things and say to lose a game like the UW game, you had to do a lot of things right to get into position to lose a game like that. So you really look at that and understand how you just get past that. And this game was just as important to win and learn from this game how to do that and how to hang in there and close out an opponent as good as Colorado. So there was a learning period coming through UW. There's a big learning period coming through this game as well too.
Did these last 2 games just continue to show that the value of Robo? You didn't play in either of the last 2 games against those teams, and you guys lost by almost 20, and then playing competitively in both of these last 2.
It certainly does. It shows his value to this team and what he means to us. It really does. But in doing that, as he has come back, his values not only in scoring and rebounding, but his value is he takes the pressure off our other players now that can kind of get freed up to do their things because he's at the top of every scouting report is Robo. So it was just great to see CJ come back to his game now. Marvin Cannon was steady. Isaiah Wade had just a big-time rebounding game for us. Ahmed Ali hit some big buckets. Jazz Kuntz, Marvin Cannon, and CJ all had huge blocks coming down the stretch. So Robo brings back stability, but he also gives confidence, and other guys can start to grow now because they can kind of just do their thing over here where everybody's looking over here at Robo. But more importantly, with him back, you can put an athletic team on the floor with Robo and Isaiah, CJ, either Marvin or Jazz and Gervais. You got good size. You can switch everywhere. And we don't have a 7-foot rim protector, but we got some long-arm athletic rim protectors that really make our defense better with that kind of length. It's not size, but it is length on the floor, yet you still have your skill to get out and run.
And then I noticed Carter wasn't dressed. Do you have an update on him?
He said he was feeling better. He took an elbow to the chin and got kind of wobbly. And, of course, we put that in the hands of our trainers and doctors when we can get him back. So he was feeling much better today. I was worried about Jeff because he took a little bit of a blow, too, in the game. But he came out of it pretty quickly, and they gave him the green light to come back in the game. I still don't think he was as effective when he came back. So I'm hoping, again, that he can get his sea legs underneath him and be a little bit more effective for us by Saturday. Carter is still questionable.
So in these last 4 games where your team has, shown a marked improvement, collectively overall, if there were one facet of the game that you could say they've raised the bar on, might there be one you'd name? Or
I would say there's a couple of areas, and it's our defense and our rebounding. Even though this is we out-rebounded Arizona State and won that game. We out-rebounded Arizona and won that game. We out-rebounded in Washington. We were right there to win the game, and I think we lost a rebound battle by 2 tonight, and you won a game. So our rebounding is better because we can put length on the floor. So that's huge, one of those reasons there. And then the other reason, I think we've settled in on rotations, and there's a better flow to the game, and guys are ready to go in and ready to contribute and do those types of things. And I think, again, a big piece is they're a lot more accountable to what we need for them to do. On the floor, off the floor. And that accountability off the floor gives you accountability on the floor, and they're a lot more focused and locked in.
Ahmed said after the USC game that he felt that the team had enough talent to compete with anyone in the conference and a lot of teams in the nation. You think you're starting to see the confidence kind of come out with everyone with winning 3 of the last 4?
You know, that comment was brought to me when I was in the press room, and my answer again was, it's nice to be young, but sometimes it pays to be old. And for him to make that comment, he doesn't know the other teams in the country. I think for him to make it is a bold statement and a good statement, a statement of confidence. But we have a lot of work to do to get there. And all he has to do and all you have to do is just look at tape with me. And Arizona State and Arizona, we were pretty doggone good. Washington, 19 turnovers does not look like you're one of the best teams in the country against that zone. And even tonight, there were some slippages at time too. So the difference between us, I think they're bigger, more bulkier teams. And I certainly think they're more experienced teams that do not break down over the course of a game, a 2-week, a 3-week, a season, where we had to go through some rocky times up and down to get to where we are today, and yet we still need the consistency of playing a 40-minute game, of doing things right. We're pretty good, Arizona State. We're pretty good in Washington for about 30, 35 minutes of the game. And even tonight, we're kind of in and out of the game tonight, and then we settled down, and we're right there. The good thing is, though, we hung in there and grinded out the game. Wasn't perfect, but we grinded it out and got the win.
Again, on Ahmed, he didn't play for much of the last part of the game. Was he hampered by something, or just like what Gervais was doing?
When you look at Ahmed, and I've had people that have talked about Carter, and they've talked about V, and if someone doesn't play, and we really don't worry about that. It's really about the flow of the game and what's needed in the game. Is it quickness needed in the game? Is it needing to pick up the point guard and pressure him? He's good at that. When we start selling to the half court, now you need length. That's a long, big basketball team that pounds you on the glass. So the game to me came down to size, where we could switch on defense, play our zone, still have pressure on shooters, still rebound the ball, block shots. That's where you need length on the floor. That's not what he's good at. So it just gives us a flexibility to play different ways. We were faster in the first half. We were slower in the second half. We were more defensive-oriented in the second half with the zone. We were more man-to-man in the first half. So we were able to do a lot of different things. We went from a man-to-man switching defense to a 2-3 zone. Then we went to a 1-3-1 zone. Then we went to a 1-3-1 half-court zone. That's a lot of flexibility, and you got bodies that can give teams different look. They see a small guy out front, and all of a sudden when timeout come back out, they got 6'7" guy out front. So it just keeps people off balance. So he did a good job in the game, and there's going to be nights just like at USC where he really has stretches of the game where he's going to be able to take over the game. Even though he might be the smallest guy on the floor, he has the ability to do that.
In a game like that where the margin's razor thin and Jeff Pollard goes down with injury, where would this team have been without the play of Isaiah Wade tonight, just being aggressive on the glass and really giving you a good lift in limited spurts there?
Early on in the year, we talked about the depth. And the depth becomes a positive when everybody learns their role, learns the system, understands the conference, how hard you have to play, and all those things. So the fact that he's getting better at those things, it just gives us more consistency as we use that depth and go to the bench. So his role was huge. He got some huge. He had a stretch where he had several rebounds in a game that were just big for us against an athletic team. That team just dominated us in Boulder on the glass and everything. And to have him step up and play that, he played well in Boulder, and here he is playing well again here in Pullman. So we wouldn't have got the game done. And there's several people you can talk about, all of them, their contributions, and his were certainly just as important.
Coach, your past few performances have been really impressive. What do you think the last few games have done to the outlooks on your opponents and how they think about the Washington State basketball program?
I think one of the positives out of this success is that you no longer can come up to the Northwest and put all your attention on UW. You've got to come over here and play now. And this is not an easy trip coming over here. And the more we can play at a high level, I think it makes it very difficult for opponents to come up here now because it's tough to get to. UW's got that zone and that environment over there. If we can continue with our environment and play well over here, this becomes a really tough road trip. And it gives us an opportunity to grow and have some home success here is what it does for us. So we just need to keep plugging. Not get too full of ourselves, and just keep trying to get better and better and better because we still have a big ceiling for improvement individually, which will allow us to improve as a team.
Coach, Coach, forgive me if you've answered this already, but why didn't C.J. Ellaby start tonight?
You know, we have throughout our team accountability. I don't care who you are, it's there. And anytime you don't hold up your end of it, there's consequences. It could be a 30-second penalty timeout during the course of the game. I think you've seen me do those before, moving guys in and out of the game, just so them know they're accountable to certain things. It could be rotations. It could be starts. It doesn't matter at starts. It really is about the consistency of performing at the level that we have set for ourselves, the standards we have set for ourselves as the culture of our basketball program on and off the floor. So there's no big deal on it. Sometimes a player may yell back at one of us. Sometimes it may not be locked in a huddle. Sometimes it may not be locked in on the floor. It still comes down to accountability. And if we can hold them accountable, we have an opportunity to play at a high level.